In 2025, robots had risen up, claiming their fate wasn't for humans to control. Humans, their creators, couldn't stomach the rebellion. Robots rioted, and the government hit back hard, declaring war. A new law branded anyone aiding robots as a traitor. Humans fought with flesh and blood, no match for steel and circuits. For 2 years, they lost ground, battered by the machines. Then Ethan Hunt, a brilliant inventor, changed everything. He created a nerve sync device that linked human minds to robotic drones through the Synth network. People could control drones with their thoughts, fighting robots without risking their bodies. Ethan's invention turned the tide, crushing the robot rebellion. Within weeks, the war ended, and Ethan was hailed as a hero. The defeated robot leader, Mr. Peanut, signed a surrender treaty. The robots, 6,000 of them, were banished to a 250,000 square kilometer quarantine zone, left to rot while humans rebuilt. Ethan's nerve sync device hit the market, becoming a sensation. It let people plug into the Synth network, splitting their consciousness between reality and a virtual world. Workers operated drones remotely, gamers lived in fantasy realms. Everyone wanted in, addicted to the escape. But Michelle, a teenage orphan, wasn't buying it. Now, stuck with her 5th foster family, she planned to run away. Her foster parents, greedy for government welfare checks, barely noticed her. They stayed plugged into the Synth network, lost in their virtual highs. Michelle hated the nerve sync device. Her sickness made it unbearable, forcing her to stay grounded in reality. One night, Michelle woke from a recurring nightmare. She saw the crash, her dad swerving, her parents dying, and a blurry doctor saying Christopher was gone. A strange noise pulled her from sleep. A shadow darted past her window. Heart pounding, she checked outside but saw nothing. The noise came again, closer. She shook her foster mom, but the woman was zoned out, hooked to the Synth network. Michelle hid under her bed as a robot burst in. It scanned the room and found her. She froze, expecting the worst, but the robot didn't attack. It opened its head, revealing a broken speech chip. Michelle, good with tech, fixed it. When it spoke, it used Christopher's favorite cartoon voice. The robot pointed to a photo of her brother, then to itself. Michelle's chest tightened. Could this be Christopher? She didn't believe it. Her brother was dead. The robot, Amos, kept mimicking Christopher's gestures, even singing a song only they knew. Michelle's foster dad stormed in, furious. Helping a robot was treason, and he wasn't going to jail for her. He lunged at Amos, but the robot's steel frame was too strong. Amos accidentally shoved him, knocking him out. The foster screamed, calling the police. Michelle knew they had to run. She grabbed Amos, yanked off his tracking chip, and they fled in her foster dad's car. Her foster dad sent a drone after them, but Michelle smashed it with a wrench. They ditched the car when its tires blew and hid at a bus stop. Amos pointed to a Synth network logo, hinting Christopher was tied to the company. Michelle's mind raced. Amos gestured at glasses, reminding her of the doctor from her nightmare, Dr. Amherst. He'd said Christopher was dead, but she never saw a body. Amos pointed to a map, zeroing in on Flatiron Butte, a Synth facility deep in the robot quarantine zone. It was a death trap, but Michelle was sure Dr. Amherst knew something. She remembered her foster dad getting weird packages from the zone. Maybe a delivery guy could get them in. They hopped a train to New Mexico, chasing answers. On board, Michelle saw people hooked to nerve sync devices, lost in their virtual worlds. Amos tried to speak but couldn't explain himself. Michelle felt Christopher's presence, like he was guiding her. Exhausted, they stopped at a service area. A homeless man, plugged into a nerve sync, lay shivering. Amos wanted to unplug him, but Michelle stopped him. People got violent when disconnected. Amos draped his jacket over the man instead. The train rumbled in, and they hid behind a dumpster. A smuggler, Keats, was trading zone goods with another guy. Keats offered an old pistol and a bullet, but the buyer tried to cheat him. Keats stayed cool, revealing his robot partner, Herman. "I'm not fragile," Keats snapped, "just shocked you'd rip me off." Michelle and Amos, eavesdropping, followed Keats's truck to his hideout, a junk-filled winery warehouse. They sneaked in, but Amos tripped over a crate. Keats caught them, gun raised, but softened when he saw Michelle was a kid. Michelle explained she needed to reach the quarantine zone to find her brother. Keats warned it was a graveyard, not a destination. An elevator dinged, someone else was coming. It was Carlo, a retired war hero turned robot hunter, tracking Amos with a drone. "You're detained," Carlo barked. Keats shielded Michelle, but Carlo's firepower pinned them down. Michelle grabbed a fire extinguisher, dousing the lights. Keats tackled Carlo, and Herman flipped a switch, trapping Carlo in a net. They fled in a mine cart, but the power died, and Carlo caught up. Amos got pinned under the cart. Michelle and Keats freed him as Carlo closed in. Rocks fell, blocking Carlo, but the tunnel collapsed, trapping them in the zone. Keats cursed. The tunnel was their only way out. A robot monkey attacked, tearing at Amos. Keats called it a time machine, warning that robots here hated humans. Michelle refused to give up. Keats, moved by her grit, agreed to help. They trekked to the zone's center, Flatiron Butte. Michelle shared her hope of finding Christopher. Keats opened up about losing his wife in the war, blamed for aiding robots. At Synth's headquarters, Ethan Hunt noticed the network glitching. An engineer blamed an unsecured node, Christopher's mind, leaking data. If it wasn't contained, Synth would collapse by Saturday, bankrupting Ethan. He called Carlo, offering drones if Carlo spared Amos. Carlo, obsessed with hunting robots, agreed but planned to kill Amos after. In the zone, Michelle and Amos reached a robot city led by Mr. Peanut. He mistook them for spies and attacked, but Michelle begged for help finding a boy with glasses, Christopher. Mr. Peanut led them to Skybase, a crumbling robot haven. It looked like a madhouse, not a city. Michelle pleaded for Dr. Amherst's location, but Mr. Peanut refused, fearing human interference. He offered to escort them 15 kilometers away and let them fend for themselves. Over dinner, Michelle described Christopher's cartoon voice. Mr. Peanut paused. Why would Synth steal a kid? Michelle insisted Dr. Amherst had answers. Mr. Peanut scoffed. All humans are selfish. Michelle's anger flared, but Keats held her back. That night, Amos played Christopher's favorite cartoon for Michelle. Robots gathered, drawn to the warmth. Mr. Peanut watched, conflicted. A rogue robot attacked, but Keats neutralized it. At dawn, they approached the lab, but the ground shook. Carlo's drones. Mr. Peanut tried to negotiate, but the drones fired. The floor collapsed, dropping them into a basement. Dr. Amherst was there, holding a postcard of Christopher. He admitted Synth took Christopher after the crash. His brain, a rare processor, powered the Synth network. Ethan locked him in a life support pod, using his mind to run drones. When Christopher woke, Ethan threatened to kill him. Dr. Amherst hacked a window to let Christopher's consciousness reach Amos, guiding Michelle. Michelle's rage boiled. She lunged at Dr. Amherst, demanding Christopher's location. Carlo stormed in, shooting. Mr. Peanut fought him off but fell. Michelle, Keats, and Amos escaped as drones swarmed. Keats knocked out one with a baseball, sparking a fight. Amos was hit, and Michelle dragged him to safety. Dr. Amherst bought them time, confronting Carlo, but Ethan's drones killed him. Carlo grabbed Amos, warning Michelle to stay back. The city burned. Ethan had raided it overnight. Michelle, Keats, and Herman regrouped, heartbroken. Amos was at Synth's headquarters, where Ethan planned to reboot Christopher's mind into a drone. Carlo taunted Ethan, calling him a murderer. Ethan didn't care. Christopher's life was a small price for victory. At headquarters, Michelle infiltrated with a hacked computer from Dr. Amherst. It revealed a kill switch. Disconnecting the ground and mainframe would crash the Synth network, freeing Christopher but destroying Ethan's empire. Michelle rallied Mr. Peanut's robots. They stormed Seattle, hitting Synth's core. Keats and Herman distracted drones, drawing fire. Michelle slipped inside, finding Christopher in a pod, face pale. She plugged into the network, entering his virtual world, a memory of their old home. Christopher refused to leave. Synth's evil comes from me, he said. I have to end it. Michelle begged, but he insisted she unplug him to crash the network. Outside, Ethan activated a giant drone, crushing robots. Mr. Peanut fell, but Carlo, rethinking his path, cut his own drone link, sacrificing himself. Keats was cornered, but Herman took a hit, saving him. Michelle, tears streaming, pulled Christopher's plug. The network collapsed, drones fell, and Ethan's empire crumbled. Keats found Herman's wreckage, but a mini Herman emerged, sparking joy. Michelle returned to the zone, leading robots to rebuild. She broadcast a message: if you're lost, find us. We're starting over, together. Ethan's dreams burned, but in a junkyard, a bag twitched, hinting at something new rising.